Good morning. So we were discussing the protection of transmission line using overcurrent relay. Okay, and as I said, it was not for the syllabus but for better understanding of the protection of transmission line using distance relay. Okay, to understand better the protection of transmission line by distance relay, we were looking at these aspects. So we had actually discrimination of selectivity using these three methods, that is current, only time, and then current and time. So in reality, in practice, this is used. These are just to understand the concepts. Okay, so current discrimination, and to achieve what? Okay, to achieve what? Selectivity and speed. Okay, so in current discrimination, what was the assumption done? Yes, the assumption was, okay, all the three relays R1, R2 and R3 are instantaneous overcurrent relays and they are adjusted to pick up the current. Okay, to pick up the current as or to pick up the current progressively decreasing from the source to the remote end. It means as you move from source to remote end, so this is the remote end, this is the source, as you move, current decreases, and these are set to pick up some current. So hence, and we know that as current move towards the end, remote end, the current decreases because it has some line has some impedance. So here current is set to some decreased value, here some moderate, and here high value. You can see here it is pick up current. Yes, so we are revising this a bit, so we'll go a bit fast. So they are set only based on current. Okay, only based on current. Now what is the problem here is, it has some disadvantage. If there is a fault at F1 and F2, okay, yes, so F1 is almost near to R2 and F2 is also near to R2. Okay, now the current here is, for example, 150 ampere. This is set for 150 and this is 100 and this is 50. Okay, since the current is near to R2, this can pick up this high current. Okay, even if the current sensed here is 150, okay, which is normal for this zone. Okay, for AB section it is normal, but after B section it is not a normal current. So this may trip, where in case R1 should have tripped for F1 but R2 is tripping for F1. Okay, so that problem would arise. Hence this method has a problem. Okay, so it is not practicable, yes, to distinguish between the fault current, that is magnitude of the fault current. So the same thing is explained here, and hence you cannot back up. See, if for F2, for fault F2, R2 should operate. Suppose due to some maloperation or failure of R2, if it doesn't operate, R1 has to back up, right? Yes, correct, R2 has to back up. But what is happening? It cannot back up because its current setting is 100 and its setting is 150. So if a fault current of 150 flows here, it will not back up because it is set for 150 ampere, which is well within its range. So it will not take any tripping decision. So hence backup is not possible when F2 fault happens by the R1. So that is the meaning of this. And there is one more problem here, that is what is ZS? ZS is the impedance from source to a relay, that is ZS, and Z1 is, okay, from relay to fault point. See, generally this impedance is high because it includes windings of transformers, generators and so on. So its impedance too high compared to Z1. Okay, so yes, and current here would not vary much, because impedance is very small compared to this. Since current would not vary much here, due to only current discrimination, it is difficult to have a current sensitivity. As I said, the current here and here is almost same, so you cannot expect relays which can sense for such a small negligible variation in current. Okay, that point is explained here. Next, one more thing is for short time fault. Okay, maybe arcing which may extinguish on its own. Okay, so those type of short time faults which your relays need not to take any action, but they take the action, is because there is no time delay, there is only current discrimination. Once it senses a small high current for small duration, the relays trips, which should not happen in such cases. Even in transient stability limit, see, transient stability means what? Again, during some disturbances, transients will sustain for few cycles, but your system, only current discrimination method cannot, okay, does not wait, because there is no time, okay, TMS setting. Okay, you have not done any time setting for that, so you don't have any waiting time here. It just trips for even transient instability or during transient conditions. So stability limit is very less. And also overreach, there is an overreach problem. Okay, instantaneous overcurrent relays suffer from the problem of overreach, whereby they would mal operate for the faults external to their assigned zone. So they may overreach. For example, okay, this relay should operate, okay, if the current is above the 50 ampere, correct, above the 50 ampere. But what happens here, if the current is 100 ampere, okay, then it's fine for this. If it is above 100 ampere at this point, if it is above 100 ampere, this should trip. Okay, but here what is happening, again the same problem. If the 100 ampere is here, since there is no much more distance here between these 2 points, relaying point and the point where I have marked, it will trip. So zone protection is not possible. So R3 will simply trip unnecessarily. That is the overreach problem. Now that is overcome by time it is not it is a separate method actually, and some of the problems, difficulties what you have faced in current discrimination are overcome here. Okay, see, in time discrimination we have definite time. Okay, remember, we have definite time. So you can see here there is a definite time set here. Okay, fixed time. So is it good? In for a few cases, or up to some extent it's good, but it is not practically implementable. We'll see how. Okay, so this should not be there. In this method, the relays R1, R2, R3 are definite time over current relays and are set to operate after times that are progressively decreasing. So here it is set for this much time to operate, here this much time to operate, and here this much time. So this is the time set to operate. Fine. Again the same as current. The pickup setting are so decided that the relay in one substation will act as a remote backup to the relay in the next substation. So here pickup, that is time delay, here it is given more, here it is moderate, here it is less, is because if this fails, it will wait for some time and this will act as a backup. If this fails, it will wait for some more time, some extra time. This is the extra time. Okay, this is the extra time compared to this. So you're getting right. So this has to happen in this point, but if this does not operate, it will wait for some more time, that is this time, this much time, and it will operate. So they are set in such a way that they act as a remote backup. Thus the relay, okay, thus the relay R1 should reach for phase fault, okay, in the substation C. So relay R1 should reach out to the phase fault. So R1 should reach out the phase fault even up to the point C, substation C. See, these are substations A, B, C and D. Okay. So near the substation only these relays and CTs are being provided. Now this shows that okay, that is what the backup, right? So here if there is a fault up to substation C, R1 should operate. So this shows that the relay R1 operates after maximum time delay. It means what? The relay is operating after, okay, after much time, which is not correct actually. Why? Which is not correct. Why it is? Because see, the objective of setting high current is because to have a remote backup. So R3 will act as a backup for R2, sorry, R2 will act as a backup for R3 and R1 will act as a backup for R2. Okay, that is how it is been set. But in order to achieve that, what is happening is you have set too much time for R1, and which is not right, because the current through the section AB will be high because it is very near to generator. Yes, it will be very near to generator. The current will be high. Once the current is high, okay, if you take lot of time to disconnect, obviously the system fails or your system may break down. So you have to, okay, rectify the fault or isolate the faulty section as soon as possible if there is a fault in section AB. So R1 has to operate as soon as possible because the current is high, because this section AB is very near to the generator, the source. Okay, so this is the fundamental weakness of time graded, okay, because the fact that is heaviest fault is cleared slow. So the heaviest fault is here, but it is cleared very slow because it is taking more time. This is the time of operation of relay. Yes, so that is the problem. So this is how it is overcome. What is this shadow? Till now I didn't talk about this shaded, okay, that is you are putting some aspects of instantaneous overcurrent, okay. For this definite time you are adding, okay, introducing by instantaneous overcurrent element, okay, in this definite time unit. So what will happen is, since you are for this definite time you are adding some current also, overcurrent relay, okay, overcurrent relay, once it senses high current, it will, okay, more the current, lesser the time. Yes, it will move fast and make it happen. So that is how this much time it will save. It is because of element of overcurrent relay. This shaded part is because of the element added in this time discrimination, that is, okay, this is what definite time. For this definite time you are adding an element called overcurrent relay, okay. So again, this is also, even if you have added this is not a exact thing what we want. What we want is, if current is high, okay, suppose this is time, this is current, if this is current, we want something like this inverse time. We want something like this inverse time, that is, more current it should take less time, less current it can take more time. This is what we want. So that is achieved in current. I have not shown this here because that we will see later, okay. This is what we want, current discrimination, current time discrimination. Here it is inverse definite time, definite mean time. Okay, here definite time, here only current, here inverse definite time is been combined. So then we will be practically achieve what we really want. What we really want is, when there is high current, it should take less time. When there is less current here, it can take more time to isolate the faulty section. So next we will come to the protection of transmission line by distance relay. In this topic, first we will see, okay, the topic called as stepped distance characteristics. Before that we will see the introduction. Okay, this is the introduction. So distance relay does not depend on ZS by Z1 ratio. Okay, we already seen, if Z1 by ZS by Z1 ratio, if it is high, then we have a problem in implementing overcurrent relay. Okay, so because of that, because of the disadvantage which was there with respect to overcurrent relay, we have overcome it in distance relay, because distance relay does not depend on ZS by Z1 ratio, because they measure only the impedance of the line to be protected by comparing local voltage and local current. That is, wherever the relay is been implemented, the relay is been installed, at that point only whatever is the current, whatever is the voltage, it is measured, and then based on that the relay operates. So the distance relay achieves selectivity on the basis of impedance rather than the current, and hence can always be set for instantaneous operation of the first zone. Okay, so this is our first zone, second zone, okay, and so on. So these are actually sections. What is zone, we will see in coming slide. Now we also knew that yes, 132 and 220 as well as 400 kV we use, okay, what we use distance relays, and for 66 transmission line and 11 kV distribution line we use overcurrent relay. Why it is so? Why can't we use a distance relay for 66 kV transmission line and 11 kV distribution line? Is because it is not economical, because this is a bit more costly. You can you will see the you might have seen the construction also. Since it is of high power rating, it will obviously have a lot of constructional features, so it is bit costly, okay, not economical viable. So hence for higher voltages we have to go for distance relay because of disadvantages which are there in instantaneous overcurrent relay, but nevertheless it is used as backup. Okay, we already have seen, it is written here, overcurrent relays do find their application as backup protection for extra high voltages. Extra high voltages means 132, 220 and 440 kV line. They act as a backup, means in case your distance relay does not operate or fail to operate, they do operate. Okay, now see, distance measurement can be done either by amplitude or phase comparator. Either you can do in any one of the ways. Okay, if you are using as amplitude comparator, then it will be of a balanced beam relay, and if it is phase comparator, then it will be using induction cup relay. If it is amplitude comparator, it will be using balanced beam relay. Okay, see, construction features of this we have seen in first chapter. Okay, if you want you can refer it back, but this is what we need to know. So the backup protection is made possible in distance protection by step to distance characteristics in modern relays. Step characteristics. So this is step to distance characteristics, we will see. So in this scheme there are 3 zones of protection for each relay. 3 zones for, this is for each relay. Okay. Each relay means for R1 3 zones, R2 3 zones, and R3 also 3 zones. Okay. And we can set first zone to cover exactly 80%. Exactly 80% is because, okay, since it is distance, that is a relay, sorry, it works on impedance, correct? For a given transmission line, impedance is fixed, correct? So at exactly what distance you want to protect, okay, can be easily set here, because it is an impedance relay. Exactly at what impedance you want to set, you can set. So you can set exactly what distance. So impedance and distance are proportional, so you can call it either as an impedance relay or a distance relay. Now this is the transmission line, okay, generator, transformer. This is R1. In our previous case this was R2, okay, but we have either side of the bus, we have both 2 relays. Here also either side we have 2 relays. Here we have, since this is the end, here we have one relay. So R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6. I request you to please remember this diagram. I mean, picturize this in your mind, so that whenever we go to next slide, we don't have to come back again and again. Okay. See, for R1, 80% is considered as the first zone. From, okay, from bus B or substation B to the 50% of next section, it will cover zone 2. So explanation of this is not in is not there here in written words, but we'll see. And if this comes in exam, you will have to write it for 10 marks. Okay, if this comes, you will have to write these 3 diagrams. Okay, these 3 diagrams. Well, I'll explain this, and it is simple also. Fine. Now, what is zone 1? Zone 1 of R1 is 80%. What is zone 2? From next substation, okay, next substation, it will cover up to 50% of next section, okay, as well as, okay, this 20% also. Uncovered by zone 1, zone 2 is uncovered part of zone 1 plus 50% of next section. Similarly, zone 3 is 50% of next section. See, section for R1 primary is this section, okay, so it is covering for zone 2 up to 50%, and zone 3 from next 50% to the section 20% after the substation C. Okay, this is how it is. So this is for R1, and this is for R3. See, R3 is here. For R3, 80%, okay, that is zone 1. Zone 2 is 20% of its self section, and next sections 50%, and zone 3 is 50% of next section plus 20% of further. Okay, so this is how it is. So since it looks like stepped. Why it is stepped? Because it is taking extra time here. Okay, for this section it will wait. See, you can see here time of operation. It will wait for extra time. So that is why it is extra. This is extra. This is extra. Means what? If there is a fault here in this zone, suppose at R4, at exactly R4 there is a fault. Okay, your R3 should operate, not R4. Why these R2, R3, R4? What are these R2, R3, R2, R4 and R6? We will see later. But we have come across only R1, R3 and R5. R1, R3 and R5. R1, R3, R5 for forward direction. Okay, and R1, R3 and R5. R2, R4 and R6 are for this direction. Okay, for this direction. See, distance relay, if you are implementing, they are not directional. Okay, means they operate only for the forward direction, and these R2, R4 and R5, sorry, R6 are for even number relays are for this direction. Okay, so hope now you can understand. See here, R2 zone is to the left 80%. Okay, first zone. R2's second zone is okay 20% of its self section and 50% of next section. Yes, so this is one section between A and B, one section between B and C, one section between C and D. This is one section. So what is this? This is not section, this is zone. Okay, inside bracket what it is zone, it is written is zone. R1 zone. Okay, R2's second zone, R1's second zone, R1's third zone, R3 first zone, second zone, third zone, fifth first zone, second zone, and so on. Okay. Now what you need to explain here. Okay, so this is what you have to explain, that is just now what I told. R1's first zone, second zone and third zone you have to explain. Okay, only with respect to R1, will not explain. See, if you explain for relay 1, it is same for other relays also, because all relays have same characteristics. Okay, now this is more relay characteristics. Okay, we have already seen this. Okay, see, this is for a particular direction, this characteristic is for a particular direction. Okay, so when you are implementing more relay, we are actually implementing distance relay, we are not interested in more relay. Okay, for impedance relay it will be something like this, the characteristics. So this is the zone of operation, here it operates and here it does not operate. Okay, we have already seen it, fine. So since it doesn't have any direction, you need a directional relay if you are implementing it for, okay, if you are implementing it for distance relay. So if you are using distance relay, where we have used here, okay, this chapter is for distance relay, correct? So since you have used distance relay here, you need one more addition to this is a directional relay. Okay, directional relay. So that is why for this direction you have used one more relay. But if you use more relay, since it is itself is a directional, here there is no direction for this. Okay, it is not set for a particular direction, but here it is set for a particular direction. Okay, so hence when you use more characteristics or more relay, you don't need a directional relay. Is that clear? Fine. Now this is what K is what? Okay, K in general is a resistive component. Yes, this is a resistive component, this is reactive component. In general it becomes an impedance, correct? We have seen this. And inverse of impedance is mho. Mho is also called as admittance relay. Okay, this is mho, correct? Fine. Okay, so what is K? K is a resistive component. Yes, here also K is a resistive component, and this is for first zone, second zone, because second zone length is more. Okay, up to second zone this is the length, up to third zone this is the length from substation A. From substation A this is the length, so that's why this is the characteristics, its length is high. So from here K3 is here, from here, from point A K2 is this, from point A K1 is this. Hope you got this. Okay, similarly here also this is K1, okay, this is K2 and this is K3. So you have circles like this. Okay, fine. Now we will see the second part of it. Okay, see this diagram and this diagram is mandatory. So the second part is you have to explain the DC control circuit of distance protection scheme. Distance protection scheme. Now see what is 86. 86 we have already learnt what is 86, 52A and 52 TC. This is tripping coil, this is auxiliary, okay, this is relay. Yes, we have already seen it. We have already seen this diagram in first chapter. Okay, so we have something called as auxiliary coil and this is relay contact. Relay contact is the one which disc rotates and makes the contact. You remember it, right? There is a disc. Okay, I cannot draw on this page, I can draw on this PDF, but you remember this, right? Okay, see there is a disc. Okay, here there is a pivot. Yes, and we have something called as contact. It would be earlier here, then it would go and make the contact here. Once it makes the contact, there is an auxiliary coil here. Okay, in this auxiliary coil I'll draw it here. Okay, there are two contacts, one is fixed contact and one is normally open and normally closed, correct? So they are set up such that this is normally closed. Okay, this is normally open. See here, there is no contact here, so it is normally open. There is a contact here, so it is normally closed. So when there is a normally closed, okay, this is a normal operation. When there is a fault, okay, when there is a fault, this opens, means faulty section opens. When there is a normal condition, it is connected to your actual circuit. When there is a fault, this is open and okay, this is open, that is this is lifted up. When there is a fault, this is lifted up, so this gets open, this gets closed. So then becomes normally open becomes normally closed, normally closed becomes normally open. So once it is open, faulty, your healthy section is isolated from the faulty. And why this contact is made now? Once this is lifted, when it is fault, it is lifted. When it is lifted, okay, when it makes a contact here, you need auxiliary contacts. Why you need auxiliary contacts? We have already seen. I am just revising it. Why you need auxiliary contacts? To make the alarm, okay, or to give an indication or something like that. Okay, so I hope you know this diagram. Okay, when this makes a contact, okay, it gives a signal to tripping coil that it has to trip. Now why this is there? Okay, 52A is what? Okay, see, when this is closed, during relay contact will close when there is a fault. When this is closed, this is also closed. This is auxiliary. Okay, this is the normally closed, normally open pin I have told, right? When this is closed, this is also closed. Okay, now 52A, just know that when this is closed, this is closed, that's it. And when this operates, this also operates. This is what you need to know. And 52A is open when this is open, this is closed when this is closed. Why it is done like that is, when there is a mal operation of this, okay, suppose it was earlier closed, okay, suppose it was earlier closed, then this is also closed, then this is closed. This is first case. Second case, it is open, but due to this is, if this is open, this is also open, this is also open. During mal operation, if this closes, this will still remain open because this is open. These two are directly related. If this is open, this is open. So this is an backup or protective against abnormal operation. So we have seen this working. Okay, if you are not, you please go through this and The same thing we will implement it here. This is important. So first thing is explain this diagram. Second thing is you have to explain this. Now zone 1, you remember, this is the transmission line for a relay. This is the A, B, this is the zone 1, this is the zone 2, okay, this is C, this is the zone C, correct, zone 3. So this is Z1 for relay 1, Z2 for relay 2, sorry, relay 1, and Z3 for relay 1. So Z1 is here, for 1 suffix is for everything is for relay 1, everything is 1 here, okay, Z31, Z21, T21, T31. It means what? This is explanation for only relay 1. So whatever I am explaining is only for relay 1. It's same, it holds good for other relays also, because all the relay characteristics are same. Now if there is a fault in zone 1, if there is a fault in zone 1, okay, then this will activate, okay, and in zone 1 your directional relay will also operate. This is directional relay, okay, it will operate only when in zone 1, okay, because its a directional relay will be here. Do you understand? And its a zone 1 is up to here, okay, fine. So know that when Z1 when there is a fault, Z1 closes, D1 also closes. So D closes only when Z1 operates. Is that fine? So there is a close contact for these two, okay. So positive comes here, current flows here. This is a DC circuit, correct, DC control circuit. So current comes here, D1, Z11, and when there is a signal, obviously when there is a fault, obviously relay will operate, okay, and Z2A, this relay will send a signal to tripping coil that you have to close. So this will also close, so it makes a complete path. Is this clear? This is for zone 1. For zone 1, this is the path. Now for zone 2, if there is a fault in zone 2, suppose here or here also, okay, this is fault 1 for zone 2, this is fault 2 for zone 2, fault 1 for zone 1, fault 2 for zone 2. Now how the circuit will be? This should operate. When this operates, Z31 will also operate, but okay, this will not operate. See, when Z21 operates, this operates, it means what? It means what? Okay, and of course 86.1 will also operate. So current will go from 86.1 here. It is not closed, still it is open, it is closed, and this is also closed. So there is a timer. So after a certain time, and you should know that, okay, this relay, if there is a fault here, actually R2 should operate, but if it fails to operate, okay, R1 will wait for extra time. So that is 0.25 seconds. So for 0.25 seconds it will wait. So this is the timer. Since once it counts from 0 to 0.25 seconds, okay, then your T2 will operate. So the circuit is 86.1, T2, Z21, Z31, and this. So once it gets a signal, this is a common thing for all zones. This operates. So did you get it? For zone 2, if there is a fault in zone 2, this is the thing. But note that this will operate only when count happens from 0 to 0.25. Is this clear? Next. Now if there is a fault in zone 3, fault 3 in zone 3, again this has to wait for how much time? 0.25 because of zone 2 plus 0.25 because of zone 3, so it has to wait for 0.5 seconds. So again this, okay, anyhow it has waited for 0.25, this is closed, okay, this is closed, and now it will wait for 0.5 seconds. Once it's done for 0.5 seconds, the path is this. Now this path does not matter, even if it is there or not, it doesn't matter, because after 0.5 seconds this happens in zone 2, after 0.25 seconds this happens, so after 0.5 seconds this happens or this closes, so this is the path. So once you have complete path from positive to negative, there is a tripping decision. So this is the zone protection using distance relay. So this scheme you have to explain if you get this question. So next we have some problems, okay, problems in distance measurement. There are 8 to 10 problems. We will discuss that in next class. Okay, hope you have got it. So this will come for 10 marks. So explain step to distance characteristics of distance relay. You have to write this, you have to write some theory about it, okay, that is about this only, and then no need to explain this, okay, and no need to explain this also. This is for your understanding, okay, just what are these terms, okay, just to know what are these terms. I have explained it. So this circuit you have to write and explain this, that's it. Okay, that's it. We'll see problems in distance measurement in next class.